MrSeals.com.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
At Metro State University, students learn from expert instructors in high-demand degree programs like healthcare, technology, cybersecurity, teaching, and business. As one of Minnesota's most diverse universities, Metro State is dedicated to providing a welcoming environment for all students. Explore 60-plus bachelor's programs at their May 29th open house in St. Paul. Learn about how free tuition is possible for eligible students through the North Star Promise Scholarship. Visit metrostate.edu/open house. Know your power. Metro State University.
Everyone wants to maximize their dollar. If you're looking for a new vehicle, the only place to go is Rudy Luther Toyota. Consumer Reports Best of 2025 edition has the most reliable vehicles as Toyotas. The Toyota Corolla, RAV4, and RAV4 Prime top the list of the most reliable cars. And Toyotas are fuel efficient, meaning less money at the pumps. Consumer Reports Best of Gas Mileage ranking has the Prius Camry, Corolla Cross Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, and the Highlander Hybrid top of their classes. Reliability and fuel efficiency, you'll find them both at Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 45, Thursday sunny with a high near 72, and Friday sunny with a high around 81. Crooners is your go-to classic supper club, offering world-class entertainment and 4-star dining. Catch top artists in the main stage showroom, Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the Belvedere under the stars. Or stop by Maggie's Lounge where there's no cover and no reservations. Visit croonersmn.com for details.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events. And as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we've got a jam-packed show, and I like to say that because then we don't have to do much talking, Haley.
Oh, what? Hey.
Yeah, exactly. So we have our friend Arvina Martin from Emerge, Wisconsin, catching us up on what's happening politically in Wisconsin and all around Turtle Island. And of course, and we have guests that we haven't had on in a long time. John, and John's just a doer, and he's been in the community for so many years. And I just want to say, John Hunter, who's founder and coach of Twin Cities Native Lacrosse, and we have a lot of great questions ready for him, and I'm sure he has a lot of great answers. So, jam-packed show, Haley. What else is going on?
Well, a lot of exciting things are. I'm excited to have like a whole Ho-Chunk Winnebago show today for an entire hour. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff going on. if you're just tuning in, we've been talking about this for, since the beginning of May, I guess, and before that, but May is American Indian Month here in Minnesota. It's also Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
You can check locally for that monthly calendar filled with events on Metropolitan Urban Indian Directors, or MUD, M-U-I-D. They have a Facebook page. We also share the calendar on our Native Roots Radio Facebook page if you want to just scroll down and save that to your camera roll. But there's stuff going on this weekend, Robert.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm excited for the Ho Chunk 5K on Friday the 5th. It's a run walk. So I'll be doing both. And Wendy kind of threw me under the bus yesterday when the cameras are out for the last 10 yards. I start running and like I ran the whole thing. And it's a beautiful experience. You get a trophy, and there'll be food and speakers, and it'll be awesome. It's 14th annual 5K. And it was founded by Vice President of Ho Chunk Nation, Danielle DeLong, and expect a meal, DJ, T-shirts, and the usual raffle. Geez, got to get those tickets going.
Dude, the raffle, I spend so much money on every year, and it goes to a good cause too. I just want to say, but they have amazing raffle prizes. I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but like the kayak, the camping gear, bicycles.
We got one of those wagons that fold up, and we use it for Native Roots Trading Post all the time.
Yeah. Did Wendy throw you under the bus for your running yesterday? I think you kind of talked about that.
Well, hey, I'm a self. What do they say? A self. Well, anyways, it's at 5 p.m. It's at Phelan Regional Park, 1600 Phelan Drive, St. Paul, Minnesota, the capital city of Minnesota.
Yeah, I like this one for sure. I get them mixed up. I don't know if it's Phelan or Fallon.
It's Phelan.
Phelan.
Yeah.
Phelan. Okay. I've listened to KDWB since I was a kid, and there's a great host on there named Fallon. Fallon. Now I can't remember which one it is. Anyways, I get them mixed up because of that. There's other stuff going on this weekend. AIFC, American Indian Family Center, will be hosting their annual open house. Also on Friday, May 9th, this is going to be before the 5K from 12 to 2 p.m. It's going to be at the American Indian Family Center located at 579 Wells Street in St. Paul, Minnesota. It's going to be outside in the parking lot, so dress for the weather. Luckily, it looks like it's going to be sunny with a high of low 80s, so be ready to celebrate American Indian Month. There's going to be great laughs with American Indian Family Center. They're also going to be serving a light lunch. There's going to be activities for kids and families. It's a free event, so bring all of your relatives, and then head over to the Ho Chunk 5K in Lake Phelan after that.
Hey, I just want to bring this up, Haley, before we get to our friend Arvina Martin on and continue this all Ho Chunk Winnebago show today. People always ask about our Resist t-shirts and some of our art from our store. So we have our Resist hoodies, hats on causecart.shop, and then just look up Native Roots Trading Post on there, and you'll find all the swag up there. So that's causecart, causecart.shop, and help support us and also get a cool Resist shirt and be a groovy person with all these protests that we need to go to.
Yeah, always support your local Native artist. Yeah, I'm excited. I have a Resist shirt. I have the rainbow one too. I have them actually in a couple different sizes, so I can wear them all the time. But Saturday, I want to quickly shout out Saturday, May 10th, the Anishinaabe Student Council is doing a car wash fundraiser in Minneapolis from 11 to 2 p.m. This is going to be Saturday, May 10th. Again, it's going to be in the back parking lot at 3100 East 28th Street, Minneapolis. The cost for that fundraiser, the car wash, is $10. It's going to be a high of 78 and sunny, so perfect day to get a car wash too. Working at the car wash,
I hope they vacuum it out because I need my car's dirty inside and I need it vacuumed.
Mine too, actually. I have a bunch of dirt from my landscaping plants still in there that I need to clean out.
Geez.
But that might be a different thing. Also, this Saturday, Little Earth Residents Association is hosting their annual Mother's Day powwow on Saturday, May 10th. Grand entry times will be 1 and 7 p.m.
That's an awesome event to go to that every year, even though I'm not a mother. Hey, let's bring on our friend Arvina Martin, who's Ho-Chunk in Stockbridge, Muncie, and she is the executive director of Emerge, Wisconsin. Thank you so much, Arvina. We have John Hunter, the lacrosse guy, on next, and so we have
Ooh.
Winnebago show today. Hoa!
Yay!
Hey, so how was the gala and Emerge Gala in California?
It was wonderful. I got to hear Kamala speak. She of course had wise words, and the speech was apparently carried by CNN live, so some people did watch it. But it was kind of the I'm trying to like it wasn't a defeatist speech. It was definitely acknowledging a lot of the things that we are having to go through right now, but it was also a speech that had hope in it. And it was one that was inspiring to keep the fight going, as opposed to just having to stop and just throwing up our hands and saying there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, and I like that, and that's kinda why we're still on, the radio, because we were so bummed out after the election. We had to take a week off and regroup, and now here we are, and we need to resist and divest and join a group and run for office and vote, and we need to pound that into, everyone that's on the borderline and all our listeners out there.
Absolutely. And remember, I say it almost every time. We talk about it, but making sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you are giving yourself rest when you need it, that you are making sure that you are trying to keep your mental health as positive as possible, while taking these battles underway. I mean, this is going to be a long game, and we need everybody. So take a break when you need to, and keep fighting when you are able.
Absolutely. Hey, we're here with our friend Arvina Martin, Ho-Chunk Stockbridge Muncie Band, and executive director of Merge Wisconsin. And I feel like you're our connection in Wisconsin, so we can talk to our listeners, all our listeners that are listening to us on civic media. So we really appreciate you coming in and talking to us. And so we're going to take a quick break here and pay the bills. This is Native Roots Radio, and this is the all Ho-Chunk Winnebago show today. Ho-ah.
Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas is your pathway to a bachelor's degree. Located in downtown Minneapolis, Doherty Family College offers an affordable education that includes free textbooks, a laptop, meals, career coaches, and a Metro Transit pass. As a full-time Doherty Family College student, you'll benefit from mentorship from St. Thomas faculty, along with paid internships and support from Minnesota's largest private college. Ready to turn your dreams into reality? Apply now at dfc.stthomas.edu. Doherty Family College, your journey to success starts here.
All My Relations Arts invites you to Creation Story, a new exhibition exploring Native creation stories through contemporary art. Join us Thursday, May 8th at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis for a reception and curators talk from 6 to 8 p.m. Discover how storytelling and artistic expression shape identity, culture, and resilience. Creation Story invites all to connect with Indigenous identity, spirituality, and creativity. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Celebrate the past and present of Native creativity in this powerful, community-centered exhibition.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
Hey, we are here with Arvina Martin, Ho-Chunk and Stockbridge Muncie Band member and Emerge Wisconsin Executive Director. Hey, I was talking a little bit about having this be a Ho-Chunk Winnebago show. Arvina, do you want to let our audience kind of know the difference? But there's a lot non-difference because, like, in the White Way, I'm like the oldest cousin in my family, and everybody else is enrolled in Nebraska, and I'm the only one enrolled in Wisconsin. So we're like the same people, but different. Oh,
Yeah, so Nebraska, Winnebago, and the Ho-Chunk Nation, used to be the same people. There's a lot of people that have relatives in both tribes. We are recognized as two different federally recognized tribes that function independently from each other in terms of government, but in terms of traditions and everything, language is the same. The Ho-Chunk Nation members are the folks that wouldn't be removed. I remember reading an article when I was maybe in middle school or high school that talked about how the federal government kept trying to remove us, but we wouldn't stay. And I remember the headline of that article was Ho-Chunk stubbornness. They survived because of it. So I think that sounds pretty spot on. That the Nebraska and Winnebago are the folks that stayed, and the Ho-Chunk Nations are the ones that returned back home.
yeah, and they snuck back home, and I think one of the most famous people, and I'm sure you've heard of him, Dandy, who snuck back 8 different times over 30 years, and they kept on catching him, and they called him Dandy because he was such a well-dressed Ho-Chunk.
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually for another reason, because of the Met Gala and how that came about. And I was thinking about the idea of native dandiness, or I don't know if dandiness would be the right term, but of native dandies, and how we might interpret that, and how a native theme or a native interpretation of that theme, what that might look like. And I don't know that I know, but I remembered that we have a tribal leader was called Dandy, and so I was thinking about that. I was also reminded of the story about how the military guy that was sent out west with the Ho-Chunks, I can't remember too specifically where, but his charge was to stay there out west until he was positive that the Ho-Chunks would stay. And so he did that, and he saw people starting to, plant crops and everything. He's like, oh, they're staying. And so the military guy, took the leisurely way back to Portage. And by the time he got back to Portage, all the Ho-Chunks were back.
Yeah.
So
That's right. And it's interesting too that there's places that the Ho-Chunk are known for in Wisconsin that say, but there's also places where Ho-Chunk know to hide. And that's been going on for, well, at least since colonization, and that's a thing we don't like talk about or definitely give away where it is because we may need to go back there and hide sometime.
I mean, the way things are going now, I would keep our hiding spaces
Yeah,
secret so then we can all go convene there when we need if we need to.
right. And I guess one of the hiding places now, at least for us Indians across Turtle Island, is no longer Alcatraz because Trump wants to open that up again. And how crazy is that?
Of course he does. I mean, I Alcatraz really seems like a symbol of cruelty and one of one that is the opposite of compassion, one that is the opposite of um rehabilitation, and so of course that is the model that he wants to go for. He has no interest in rehabilitating folks who have made poor decisions in life, maybe because of necessity or because they didn't the opportunities weren't there, and you know they refer to prisons and jails as correctional facilities, and they're missing the corrections part, and not working with um prisoners to in order to make those really deep changes and those positive changes that they can in order to lead successful lives upon their release. Instead, he's all about the punishment. I mean, this should not surprise us. Fingers crossed that maybe someday he'll have to experience some of these corrections systems, and have to pay the consequences for his own illegal actions. But I'm not holding my breath on that one. But it doesn't surprise me at all that he saw someplace as cruel as Alcatraz and was like, "Yep, that's the kind of thing that we need back here."
Well, it's interesting. We talk about fighting back and resisting, and I want to talk just specifically about this summer and the powwow season. But we have a big powwow July 4th, uh, Corporal Mitchell Red Cloud Jr. Day. And one of the things that came up today in my other job is that it's the 75th anniversary, and it's going to be a
Oh.
big hoop to do. And that's a way to fight back, to recognize our relatives that are recognizable, even a part of this nation, but especially our own nation, Ho-Chunk Nation.
Yeah, and someone like Corporal Mitchell Rudcloud should really be recognized as a national hero as well.
Mhm.
His brave and valiant actions saved lives of the people of his I forgive me, I don't know a lot of the military terms. I don't know if it was a company or a troop or
Mhm.
what division, but he saved American lives and lost
Mhm.
his own life in the process. I think people in Wisconsin should be proud of Mitchell Red Cloud as a Wisconsinite. I think Americans should be proud of him as well. And I think that as Ho-Chunk people, us celebrating our heroes, and celebrating those who came before, who acted courageously, that you're right, it is a form of resistance, because that there's not going to be any kind of proclamation from the White House on Mitchell Red Cloud Day. No one acknowledging his bravery, and valor in
Mhm.
combat, in service. And you know Trump probably categorizes him, with as losers, and
Right.
just the same that he refers to those who serve in our military, um just generally, which is a shame, and a very unbefitting for someone who holds the title commander in chief.
Well, somebody did a chat GPT on all the people that Trump has bullied, and it's all BIPOC people and people that can't fight, stick up for themselves. Whether it's like that one writer that he made fun of, in 2016 that had cerebral palsy, and so it's not anybody. It's a bully tactic. And that's how he rolls, and we gotta just stay vigilant and still talk about this and talk about how we get out of this and when we get out of this and how we can, move on, and that's why it's great to have Emerge Wisconsin on too. Why don't we talk a little bit about that before we let you go and how people can support and hear about it, and I think it's such a great organization.
Yeah, Emerge Wisconsin is one of 27 affiliates throughout the country. And we are an organization that trains women and non-binary folks on how to run for office for Democratic women and non-binary folks. Our website is wi.emergeamerica.org. And if you are out there and you have ever thought, maybe I should run for office, shoot me an email, arvina@emergewi.org, and I'm happy to talk to you about the process. If you are a Democratic woman or non-binary person somewhere in the U.S., we have national boot camps and training camps as well. And in addition to our state programs, let's get more Native people elected to every level of office in every part of this country. Our voices are needed and desperately needed. So,
Wow. Thank
yeah.
you so much, Arvina, Emerge Wisconsin's executive director and our friend and relative from Ho Chunk Nation. We'll see you on July 4th at the powwow. I know you go to that one too. So great to see
Absolutely.
you. Thank you so much for being on. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Hey, Native Roots Radio, we'll be right back.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Artworld is celebrating its 30th year. This popular free event is the largest open studio tour in the nation, a fan favorite with art lovers, families, and fun seekers alike. With 1,400 artists and 100 locations throughout Northeast Minneapolis, you'll meet potters, painters, weavers, woodworkers, and more. And you'll find all types of art at all price levels. Then there are the terrific bars, restaurants, and breweries in Northeast, plus music, entertainment, and art demos. With Artworld, you're set for 3 days of wonder. Start planning now. Artworld is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, May 16th, 17th, and 18th. Visit NEMA.org. That's NEMAA.org for details. You'll find an artist directory, maps, dining and brew guides, event and music schedules, even info on Metro Transit passes and trolley rides. Plus, new this year, a passport app can win you prizes, a commemorative sculpture and raffle, a special beer from prize, and 30 featured artists of Artworld. That's May 16th through the 18th in Northeast.
The Council on LGBTQIA2S plus Minnesotans is conducting a community needs survey. Two-spirit and Native queer voices are sacred and must be heard. Your experiences will guide programs and policies that support our relatives across Minnesota. The survey is confidential and available at mnqt.info/survey. The deadline is May 31st. Honor your story, help build the future we deserve.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Hello, everyone. I am Becky McMetin, along with Tara Martini, hosts of Feels Out Loud, brought to you by Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness. This Sunday, tune in as we process through the vulnerability of joy and the challenges to truly embracing this emotion.
If you have a question for us, visit our website at www.becomingtogethermn.com to find the Feels Out Loud page. We may just share your questions on the show, so join us at 9 a.m. to live and share mental health together.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 45, Thursday sunny with a high near 72, and Friday sunny with a high around 81. Don't just mow your lawn, love it. Natural Lawn's organic-based treatments have been creating greener, safer lawns for over 30 years. With expert soil testing and no contracts, you get healthier grass and fewer chemicals. Plus, cleanup is part of every visit. Go barefoot this summer. Start at naturallawn.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Hey, keeping in line with our show today, having a Ho-Chunk Winnebago show, we have our friend John Hunter, who's founder and coach of Twin Cities and Native Lacrosse, and your tribal affiliations. I'm just going to stop at Winnebago. We were not going to talk about the other ones. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Ho, I'm glad to be here.
Hey, I'd love. It's great to have you back. It's been many years since you've been on, and I'm going to say that's my bad. That's how the young ones say it. Thanks, Haley. Can you please remind us and our listeners a little about you and your background?
Yeah, my dad's enrolled tribal member, Winnebago tribe. I grew up here in the Twin Cities all my life. Went out to school out at Stanford University and been involved in the community since I've been young. I've been grew up going to McGizzy communications during the summer, and my mom was a teacher in Minneapolis public schools, and so Dad was always involved. We going around the Powwow Trail and whatnot. But when I was growing up, I was really interested in sports and tried all the different sports and got involved in high school. And I had a teacher in high school that had played lacrosse in college, and I had got to know him a little bit and really started this journey of, trying to bring together what I knew as our history. I heard these stories about the native origins of lacrosse, but I hadn't seen it being played here in the Twin Cities or, back in the home communities and Winnebago or up north. And so I was asking around, and even got so involved that I started a high school team at my high school, but not with the wooden sticks, not with the old Indian game. It was using these plastic sticks, and had a blast, and even played in college. And then I kind of stepped away, came back home after college, and it wasn't till my daughter was born, Hinu was born, and she started to be old enough to play sports, that I took up this idea again about traditional lacrosse. And that's when I ran into Dr. Dan Ninham, and he told me, he was the one that said, "Oh yeah, I know about the old style game." And so this was 2014, he took me to a game in Wisconsin. So it was using these style sticks, these hoop style sticks. So that's what started it. And of course, that's when I started Twin Cities Native Lacrosse.
So that's 2014 you started it. Wow.
That
How was the reception? Did everyone know what you were talking about or wanted to join in? Was it a slow start or immediate start?
It was immediate. It was, we say that this game, we've always carried it, whether, we played it, we carry it in our blood, it's part of our heritage. And so it was immediate. We had probably a couple of weeks where it was just a handful of people, but within a month or 2 months, we had dozens and dozens of players and families coming out. These were just in the city park. We got a Tawahi grant and were able to purchase 30 of these wooden sticks, and we would just go to the park and put a notice out on Facebook or wherever, and people just showed up, and it was immediate. They knew they wanted to play, so all we had to do was just set a time and a place.
That's awesome. Did we hear this right? The largest youth lacrosse tournament in the Midwest will be held in the Twin Cities this year in 2025.
Yeah, that's right. This is breaking news. We haven't announced it publicly. So you're hearing it here first. Twin Cities Native Lacrosse has been hosting tournaments annually. And since COVID, they've always been well attended, but in COVID, unfortunately we had to kind of back off a little bit. And it's been 5 years now, and they're just starting to kind of get that steam back. But we haven't been able to do a lot with the youth divisions. So this year, this is the announcement. We are dedicated. We are coming back and putting on the biggest tournament of this style of our indigenous style game here that we play here in the area. And we have not picked a time. We're reaching out to some teams beforehand to see, we have some teams from up north, Wisconsin. We know that they're going to come and bring some teams. We're reaching out to them to find what a date and a time. But we're going to have, boys and girls divisions, elementary school age, middle school age division, high school division. If we have enough interest, and I think we will, we may even have a novice division and an experienced division. So we have some communities that have been really going gangbusters with their youth programs, and so we'll have some teams that'll really show up and really bring a high level of play. But we also want to encourage the young ones to pick up the sport and give it a try. So we're going to try to make it fun and even out the play. So we expect, I would say right now, just without even broadly advertising, I would say 12 to 15 youth teams and probably 5 to 6 different communities represented for this tournament.
Wow, we'd love to get involved with that some way. Especially when when the date is. Let's get you back on. Now, I just have a question: would that tournament be inside or outside? Because I know you do inside during the winter.
Right now we're exploring options. If we're having teams travel and we want to avoid a situation where we need to cancel because of inclement weather, so we haven't set the exact venue yet. We're looking at late summer, probably most likely fall, when school's back in session. I know that some of our communities find it easier to travel once school's in session. So, but yeah, it will definitely be here in the Twin Cities.
Awesome. Hey, for people that are not familiar, what would a youth tournament look like?
That's a great question. So we'll have, unlike our community games, which are for fun and all in, no limits on number of players. We'll have for the tournament, we are looking to have a little bit more competition. We will have some particular parameters. So we'll have a set number of players for each team, a set number of players on the field at a time. So it may be a 5-on-5 tournament with 3 subs, so teams of 8, a minimum of 8 maybe, and we'll have since it'll be our biggest tournament, we'll be able to have a little bit longer games. But it'll be kind of a round robin style play. So every team will get at least probably 3 or 4 games, if not more, probably maybe 15, 20-minute games, maybe half-hour games. And so once that round robin play is, we'll go into a kind of an elimination bracket style play. And that'll work really well for the high school, for the older players. For the younger players, we'll see for the junior divisions, we'll see if we'll do an elimination bracket or if we'll just have kind of a round robin but there's going to be lots of prizes. We should be able to give out some sticks, t-shirts, other prizes and some other things for folks to take home. But we really hope the community comes out, and whether you're on the field or not, that you just show up and support our young ones. We'll most likely have an adult Division II, but really the focus is going to be on our 18 and unders.
So people that are listening that aren't, we have a lot of our allies listen to the show. Can you kind of explain not only the stick, but the difference between lacrosse and the creators game?
Right. So, there's a misconception that lacrosse, as most people understand it, it still is kind of a niche game, very popular in certain parts of the United States. So upstate New York, the Baltimore area, and then Long Island. So if you're from those areas, the game whether you play it or not, because you see it in the backyards, you see it at the parks. Now, as you move away from those areas, basically still like Florida, along the East Coast, you have a pretty good idea. But as you move to the Midwest and the rest of the country, a lot of people still aren't aware of what the sport is. They may remember it's that stick with the basket on the end of it. So if you're playing today at high school or college, what the stick is basically a molded plastic stick with a net on the end. The stick's about 3.5 feet long, made out of aluminum. The men's version of the game they wear basically looks like hockey gear, and they play on about a football-sized field. And the nets are 6x6. They look like hockey goals, but they're much bigger. And so that's what I refer to as the modern game. That's what they play in high school and college. But our game, creators game, is much different. Both in the stick, the style of play, the reason why we play. And so our sticks, traditionally, they're a wooden stick, again, about the same length, 3.5 feet long. But instead of a large kind of open basket of plastic and netting, we have a smaller hoop that's just a little bit bigger than the diameter of the ball itself. So it's a pretty small hoop. And there is no protective equipment. All of the protective elements are how we play the game, the accountability, the agreements that the teams have. And so those are decided in a real civil manner. It comes from our old teachings, so we always think of it as a much more civilized game than the modern game, because we have all these agreements in place. And then finally, I'll just say that the goalposts, instead of large 6x6 hockey nets, we use single goalposts. So they're about 4-inch diameter.
Cities, Native Lacrosse, and we're going to take a quick break and pay the bills. This is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Yes.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950. Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
At Metro State University, students learn from expert instructors in high-demand degree programs like healthcare, technology, cybersecurity, teaching, and business. As one of Minnesota's most diverse universities, Metro State is dedicated to providing a welcoming environment for all students. Explore 60-plus bachelor's programs at their May 29th open house in St. Paul. Learn about how free tuition is possible for eligible students through the North Star Promise Scholarship. Visit metrostate.edu/open house. Know your power. Metro State University.
All My Relations Arts invites you to Creation Story, a new exhibition exploring Native creation stories through contemporary art. Join us Thursday, May 8th at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis for a reception and curators talk from 6 to 8 p.m. Discover how storytelling and artistic expression shape identity, culture, and resilience. Creation Story invites all to connect with Indigenous identity, spirituality, and creativity. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Celebrate the past and present of Native creativity in this powerful, community-centered exhibition.
Hi, this is Governor Walls. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our Minnesota wolf population. Say no to the hunts. How?
No. Yeah, right on. Hey, we're here with our friend John Hunter, founder and coach of Twin Cities Native Lacrosse here in the Minnesota, the Twin Cities. Great to have you on. And this section here, this segment's going to go pretty quick. So I'm going to jump forward here and ask a couple questions that we have here. One of the interesting things that I know Haley and I talked a little bit about was of the community in the world studying how Indigenous games not just helps our physical health, but also helps our youth thrive in all sorts of ways. Can you talk a little bit about that research?
Yeah, I just got back from a conference in Albuquerque. We're involved in a multi-year study, a health study, with the top Indigenous doctors in the nation, looking at how when we play our games and when we do our cultural activities, that it's not just, for the heck of it. It actually is Indigenous technology that we've used for thousands of years to keep ourselves healthy, and not just physically healthy, but mentally, spiritually, and emotionally healthy. And when you come to these games and you get to laugh and have fun, that's why we've been so successful, as our parents and our young people see it right away. It feeds the soul, and it gives us instructions for how we can live our lives in health and wellness off the field. So we do our teachings, we smudge, we do all these things that you don't see in the NFL, you don't see at the high school games, that our Native families that are fortunate to go to ceremonies, they'll recognize some things that they see alongside our Creator's game, and they all are part of this this practice that we have that feeds our souls and feeds our health and wellness, not just muscle and bone, but all the aspects of our lives. So it's really amazing.
How can and I failed to ask this the first segment, is how can people find out more information? Is it a Facebook, a phone number, a website? Could you let our audience know?
Yeah, Twin Cities Native Lacrosse. We're on all the social media platforms except TikTok. So that's Facebook as Twin Cities Native Lacrosse. On Instagram, we're TC Native Lacrosse. And that's the best way to find us. We will be launching, as part of this youth tournament, we will be launching a website. And we have weekly games held at Corcoran Park in South Minneapolis, Sundays from 2 to 4. So those are weekly games. Everybody's invited. We have our set of community sticks there, so no equipment needed and no experience needed. So it's all ages, it's intergenerational. Play to the level that you feel comfortable, and yeah, we'd love to see you out. So Corcoran Park every Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m.
Wow. We have a Gen Z producer here and co-host Haley. Haley, do you have any questions for John?
Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe the question: do you guys ever practice in the Woodbury area? Have I seen you guys out there?
Oh, you cut out. In what area?
Oh, sorry, Woodbury.
Woodbury, yes. We were recently out there in the winter time. So in the wintertime, we go indoors, and for each winter, we kind of jump around to different areas around the Twin Cities. So this last winter, we were Friday evenings. We were at the Minnesota Athletic Club in Woodbury, and that turned out to be a very popular, well-attended event. So maybe we'll be back out there starting in. Usually, our indoor games start in November and go through March. So again, those are weekly, same format, same all-in kind of family or community style games. Not so competitive. It's really about just laughing, teasing each other. If there's enough young people, maybe we'll have a young person's game. Let the old folks take a break. But yeah, I'd love to have you out there.
Well,
Yeah.
Haley,
Well,
that could you could just bike over there.
I know, that's why I asked, because I think I saw that when it was colder here, and I was like, wow, I got to message John and we got to get him on the show, and I got to ask him so I can come over there, because it's such a great way to get active too. And I just want to mention, when I visited the National Museum or the Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C., there was a picture, like an old oil painting of Native Americans playing the Creator's Game with the traditional sticks, kind of like in the Plains area. Yeah, it was cool.
Yep. There's stories everywhere that you look, in the missionary diaries and in the military fort diaries, in our own language books. You can find references to the game everywhere. You just got to look for it. And in all communities, those that are bookworms and like to do that stuff, you see that the history is documented for hundreds of years. So that's great.
Yeah. So what is a Dakota, Ojibwe, and Ho-Chunk word for lacrosse? Do you know? I'm sure you know Ho-Chunk.
Yeah. So I'm not not a language speaker for any of those languages, so you'll have to forgive me. But for Ho-Chunk, we say Chabnakisik, or shortened to Chabna. So that's Ho-Chunk. For Ojibwe, we say Bug It Away Win is the kind of the noun, or you say Bug It Away is the verb. He or she plays lacrosse as Bug It Away. And for Dakota, we say Takopsi Choppy. And so for that, they all break down in different ways, but Takopsi Choppy just means to make a ball bounce or jump. So Tapa, Psicha means ball, Psicha means to jump, and then the P at the end just means they do it. So.
Well, I've seen, and I'm sure it's different over the thousands of years that natives been playing it, but I see paintings too in books that have hundreds of people playing at once, and they play until it's done. And that's a really interesting concept. So it's part of the term medicine game or creator's game. Can you tell us a little more about those deep meanings?
Yeah, so there's some teachings, each community, each tribe has their own stories about the game. But one of the things that's pretty common is that the game was not invented. It was given to us by divine means, whether it was through a lightning storm, or Ojibwe have a story about the sturgeon. So all of these stories talk about that these games were given as gifts, so that our animal and our spiritual relatives took pity on us and wanted to give us things that would help us in our lives, get through our lives. So that's really one of the key stories of the medicine game, that these are gifts they're meant to be used for good and for healing, to help us out, to help one another, and to help ourselves out. And another story that's really great is the Creators Game. There's a story about when we play this game, one of the reasons that we yell out up to the sky at the beginning of the game is to get the attention of Creator. And we do the game to amuse Creator. Creator's busy, got a lot of things going on in the world. And so the game is really for amusement, for the spirits, for the Monty Duke, and for the great beings. So that's one of the stories I heard about Creator's Game.
Wow, John, thank you so much. We got to do this again. I will be seeing you in the community. Thank you so much, John Hunter, founder and coach of Twin Cities Native Lacrosse. Hey, this has been Native Roots Radio. We'll be back tomorrow. We're still here. We are the 7th generation, and go out there and resist. Hoa.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the transit